Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden. And today we're going to do a number of things. We're going to be trimming up a bunch of coleus, be pruning back a couple of things, and we're going to be starting a bunch of foxglove from seed. Okay, so this is my current new obsession. This is a Ryobi trimmer tool. It has this head on the front. Let me show you. So that's for grass only, but it's worked really well with pruning some of my shrubs. And I would usually prune these all by hand, but I'm going to try with this tool. Now this coleus is flowering, starting to go to seed. We don't want that. We still need this to last several months. So I just want to go and really just shave off the tops. Now I've got some confetti lantana working through it, and I don't want to bother the lantana if possible. I want to keep that going, but I do want to get the flowers. So let's get started and see what that looks like. Okay, so working pretty easily. I'm just going to kind of throw the flowers out into the lawn. We do have, today is mowing day for me. And I do have mowers who do my yard for me. Because even though I like to garden, I don't like to mow. And really the goal of this is really just to try to get the heads of the flowers off. I don't want to go too far with it. I want to still make sure that I am leaving a good amount of leaves so that just like this, so that we still get some additional growth. I don't want to take it down too far because it can cause a lot of sun and heat damage, and I still need to leave enough leaves so that the plant can continue to photosynthesize and produce additional blooms or additional leaves. So I originally got this tool for Christmas and I didn't love it at first, but now that I'm figuring out like better uses for it, I'm really enjoying it. That just saved a lot of back bending over time. Also saved a lot on my hand pruning it. So yeah. Keep wondering if I should take it down further so it doesn't get too spindly, but I do really like this height. I think it looks nice. All right, and I'm just gonna leave all the cuttings in here for now because the lawn guys will take care of it when they come through. Okay, let me show y'all another area of coleus to deal with. Okay, not too long ago, I did a massive cutback on this area, and you can see how incredibly beneficial that has ended up being. It looks great. Actually, I'm gonna cut back to this real quick. All right, that was just some begonias. Cutting back, just make sure y'all can see. And obviously cutting back the coleus was extremely helpful. So we're gonna go ahead and give it another haircut. Because like I said, we still have months of wanting to enjoy this. Yeah, just getting that nice trim back. That's helpful. Okay, we're over here on the side garden, and this is a Pugster butterfly bush by Proven Winners, and it needs a dramatic cutback. It does this every year. It gets spider mites really bad. I feel like keep meaning to dig it up, and then I don't. I think it's because I just don't have an idea of how to replace it at this point. But I'm going to take it down to about 6 inches above the ground. I've done this pretty consistently over the years. And it does grow back, which is good. I don't know why it gets spider mites so bad. I wish it didn't. I wish my butterfly bushes just did great, because they do like the heat. They just are magnets for spider mites. And this should reset itself and be good to go for the fall. And while I just happen to be sitting here, clean out a little of this lamb's ear. It did have a bloom, which is bloom stalk blooming right here. And started forming all the little seeds. So I think I'm just going to toss the bloom stalk back there and let the seeds drop, see if it produces any more plants, and then I can always transplant them to other places. Okay, and also while I'm here, I'm going to give this sedum some pruning. I would like for it to produce some more blooms for the fall. And it definitely has a bunch of side shoots coming off, which is great. And I'm just cutting about like the top 6 to 8 inches off. Now I could definitely bring these inside and root these cuttings, but my seed space is filled up right now, y'all. Been very lucky this year and having a lot of great success. Okay, glad I got that done. Now I'm inside. Actually, in the meantime, I went and took my kids get their haircuts first day of school. And then I got cleaned up because I need to go to meet the teacher with 2 of my kids. We got a busy rest of the day. Okay, so next on my radar is to start some foxglove seeds. And foxglove, some of them are biennials, some of them bloom the first year, some of them are perennials, some of them are tender perennial. They're kind of like all over the place, in my personal opinion. And so I love to grow them. They are extremely whimsical, fun, cottage garden styling. They are extremely toxic, and every part of them is toxic, even their pollen. So if you get down and you like really smell one and you inhale a lot of pollen, it's toxic. So that's something to remember. It's toxic to humans and dogs. So if that's something that worries you, that is something that you should be massively aware of, and I suggest you don't plant these. Now, my dogs don't really mess with stuff, and my kids are old enough to know better, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. And I'm smart. I don't get down and like smell foxglove. But I love the way they look in my garden. Last year, I planted a whole bunch of them out in the fall in the front yard garden, and the front yard garden was so whimsical and magical. I just absolutely loved it. Now what I'm doing is I'm gathering up the soil from my zinnias that did not germinate, my profusion zinnias. So I'm just coming in here trying to release and get the soil out. And even though the soil has been used before, it doesn't bother me. I just repurpose it if I can, since nothing ended up growing in it. Okay, so the soil I'm working with is my favorite BM7 soil, and I know that seemed weird that like I just dumped all that soil out only to put it back in. I just want to make sure that the soil hasn't become compressed, and so that's why I just want to kind of add in some oxygen and air to it and then restart. Now, I harvested a bunch of foxglove seeds from my own foxglove, which is really, really fun. A lot of the foxglove that I grew this last year was the Camelot mix. So it's several different colors, and Camelot do tend to bloom on their first year, which is really great. There are a lot of varieties that do not bloom their first year. They bloom their second year, so they produce lots of beautiful foliage for the first year, and then the second year you'll get blooms. I don't love the second year ones. That's me. Just because I don't like to wait. I'd rather if I can get something else. A lot of the Dalmatian varieties, they bloom their first year as well. So that is typically what I stick around for. I just don't have enough big enough garden to like wait on something multiple years. And some of them act as perennials. Some of mine die in the heat every summer. It really just depends, which is also why I start more each year. Now, the foxglove that I harvested myself, I put those in the refrigerator about the same time I did the delphinium. I did not put them in with moist, so it's not a pure cold stratification, but it'll still work fine, I think. And so I'm going to start with those. Those are my Camelots, and I'm going to do, I think, 2 varieties of those. Let me see how much I have on these other ones. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with 2 containers of the Camelot. Let me get y'all closer so you can see. Basically what I'm going to do is these seeds are like dust, super tiny. So I'm just going to sprinkle a few, probably way more than needed. And if I'm, end up having a ton of luck, great. I'll divide these out as they sprout. I would love it if I had a ton of luck with these. Now, these I harvested myself, so they are not pelleted. So the seeds literally, here's seeds that I harvested, literally look like dust in here. But hey, that works for me, that's fine. And I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I direct sow mine and they do great. I have found that they sometimes will direct sow and sometimes they don't. So I like this way. It's a little bit more controlled for me, which I appreciate. So what I'm doing now is while my soil is dry, because I use a dry methods to start on my soil, while it is dry, I'm pressing down all of these. Now, if I were to start with wet soil on the foxglove, and then I went and pressed down, all those little tiny seeds that look like dust would stick to my fingers. So that doesn't really work as well. So I'm going to start that variety. And these are all surface sow, which is awesome. This next variety right here is a Camelot Rose, and these are pelleted, so you can see them. I'm going to put a couple of seeds in each container. Actually, I'm really hoping that a lot of these germinate, and then I can prick them out and, grow multiple seedlings. I think would be great. I would love to have more. All right, so got those in, just going down and pressing down, making sure these have great contact with the soil. Remember, I'm starting with the dry soil so the seeds do not stick to my fingers. And then the last one I'm going to start over here is Dalmatian Peach. These are also pelleted. Don't have as many of these left. I'll probably go ahead and finish up all of them. All right, and those were pelleted with just white. Now, foxglove do need light for germination. However, we are going to go ahead and cover these with a little bit of vermiculite. All right, and I got my vermiculite, and I'm just going to come across these lightly. Just to really help maintain moisture up by the seeds. Okay, and next I'm just going to take the 4 containers, fill them about halfway up with water. And then all we do is just sink these in. They will soak up the water pretty quickly. All All right, and then I'll just clean off the rim of each of them and place a humidity dome on top, making sure that it is closed. Okay, and so these are about 14 to 21 days to germination, quite a while. We leave the humidity domes on because we want to make sure that these stay nice and moist throughout the whole process. And they are going to be going underneath the lights. Light does aid in germination. Now, you do see me putting them on the heat mats right here. These heat mats are not on because these germinate at about 65 to 70 degrees, which is the temperature of my home. So I do not have to put on the heat lamps in order to get these going. Now, they do recommend transplanting, but it says you can try to direct sow in the spring as soon as the soil can be worked in areas with long growing seasons. These are considered short-lived perennials or biennials in zones 4 through 8. So I don't skip years on starting these because a lot of times they just don't come back for me, which is fine. And now that I've kind of gotten down a system, they're really easy to get started. I wish I had started them a month ago, but these would be fine. So we will get all these started, and come October, when these are kind of, you know, smaller seedlings, we're going to go ahead and get them planted out into the garden, going into the end of the fall, and allow them to overwinter outside throughout my winter. I do not cover them up for freezes. I will cover them up for really intense freezes, like down to 20, 25 degrees. But other than that, I'll just leave them uncovered. And then hopefully next spring, I should have tons of beautiful foxglove, which I would really, really love. And then I would love to just continue the process of harvesting more seeds and then not having to buy seeds in the future. Okay, real quick, let's look at my delphinium, how they're doing, because I do see a few seedlings coming up. So let me bring y'all closer in. Okay, remember we started delphinium a while ago after a cold stratification, and then we've had them in the dark. And it looks like we have quite a few seedlings coming about. This guy right here has quite a few coming in, so I think he is good to come out and go to the light. This one only has 3 or 4. I might give this guy another day or so. Let's slide down into here. This one right here, quite a few, so I think that we'll go ahead. And the ones that I might go ahead and just open the humidity domes on these and allow them to keep trying to produce. That one has, I usually am looking for about 60%. I'm gonna go ahead and open that humidity dome up a little bit. This guy looking really good. Let's look at this guy. Also looking really good. Awesome, y'all. Definitely, it's not 100% germination, but definitely like a good 60% on each of these. This guy still needs longer, so we're going to leave him in here and give him another day or so. And let's look at this one. I think this one is ready to come out as well, so we'll do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move over all my foxglove, and I'm going to get my delphinium up here. So I've opened the humidity domes on these, but I'm still keeping the humidity dome on because I still see some more seedlings trying to work their way up. So I don't want them to dry out too quickly. So we'll just do that, and I'll be checking these on a daily basis. Right now, I would say I probably have 100 seedlings that are looking, not 100, I wish, 40 seedlings that are looking really good. And I still have 3 that I'm going to be putting back in the tray. And I actually am going to leave this on top of the table so I do not forget about it, because I think that these are going to be ready to go within the next day or so. Now, the delphinium over here, once I see a few more seedlings sprout, then I will take the domes off fully and allow them to continue to grow. Remember, we don't want to leave seedlings in here for very long because they will go looking for light. Delphinium needs darkness for germination, but as soon as they germinate, as soon as you see seedlings appear, it needs to be moved to the light or you'll get really, really leggy seedlings. But really happy with that process, getting that started. 3 more trays in the next day or so that will add up here. The heat mats are not on, and so they're just going to continue to grow at room temperature. So yeah. Good, that's very exciting. So now I've got my foxglove going, my delphinium's looking good. A lot of stuff's looking really good. It's time to pot up a lot. I actually have, let me grab actually have petunias blooming, which so I need to trim back all of those and get those potted up. So I definitely need to do that, and I definitely need to get all my butternut bush squash, my acorn squash, and my cantaloupe planted outside. Definitely need to pot up quite a bit. My Lizzie-anthus are actually looking really good, and maybe within a month of potting up those, which is very exciting as well. All right, you all, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, seeing me use my new favorite tool to go ahead and prune back some of my coleus. And I just wanted to show you after the dramatic pruning that I did back in early July, how much it's grown in just 4 weeks, both out in the lawn, on the front garden and on the front porch, looking really good. And then we cut back that butterfly bush dramatically in order to combat all the spider mites that it was dealing with. It should come back. I keep saying every year I need to dig it up, and I keep not doing it. I really do need to get it up, dig it up, and probably just let it go because it's just so susceptible to spider mites. It even had them really early, like in March. So, and then of course, seeing me get all those foxglove seeds sown and ready to go. I'm really excited to have these just beautiful exotic plants that are very expensive in the nursery, but to be able to grow them myself from seeds that I harvested myself. Feeling really good about that. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. And if you don't enjoy leaving comments, you can just leave an emoji. This is my emoji for today's video. Just drop that emoji below. Just let me know that you watched the video and that you enjoyed it. As always, make sure you check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.